talking about that tough decisions or tough moments in life. I know that you almost or lost almost everything in like a flood or something like that.
Yes,
I mean, did you lose your bullet journal also?
I did. I lost a good amount of them for
Oh
sure.
shit. So what
Mhm.
was the next step there? What was the conversation?
I mean, at first you look and you're like, I don't own any more things, right? It's water can really just take it away. Like, you save a couple clothes or whatnot, but very quickly you realize you're okay.
You're
You're okay.
breathing.
Yeah, you're breathing, nobody got hurt. It's just stuff. And again, like, it's a bummer. Like, I would say, like, that's pretty much,
You can curse.
as
You can curse.
what it's about as articulate as you can be about this. You look at your books and they're like this fat and the ink's running out, but it's a bummer. And you know what? That's fine. You know what you do? You get another book and you start over again. It's because life moves on. And again, it's a tool. Would I have wished that upon myself? Not necessarily, but at the same time, it also gave me the opportunity to see just how little value the things I own really brought into my life. And to this day, I've always been kind of a minimalist. But once everything left, it was just like I was very cautious about what came back into my life, except for the film gear. There, I totally messed up.
So the film gear was after the floods.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Okay.
because the thing is that you have to learn about your own tricks. Like, your mind will try to trick you. Because for me, it's like I don't like buying things that are decorative or just that serve no purpose, right? So, like, if it doesn't serve a purpose, then chances are I won't want it, and that automatically reduces the amount of things that I have significantly. I mean, this applies to clothes, it applies to furniture. If it's not going to be used, I don't want it. But when it comes to tools, that's like a whole trick. Is like, oh, it's for my work, it's for my job. Like, I'm going to use all this stuff. I'm going to make it practical, and I'm investing in my
Yeah.
goal and all this stuff. And you come up with all these excuses that sound really great, but again, looking at it objectively, I could see it's like I just wanted these toys to play around with that happen to also fit into my work. And then I had to get rid of all that stuff again because I didn't want it and it was just taking up space. So it was, all these things just become these lessons and these opportunities. So yeah, I mean, I lost all my stuff, but I mean, nobody got hurt. Like, I've had worse things happen to me where that wasn't the case, unfortunately. But in terms of losing my stuff and my bullet journals, like, I was fine.
Yeah.
I was fine. I think the worst part about it is that I lost my work. So back in the day, that's when I just first moved to New York, and I was a graphic designer. That was my major, and I was applying for graphic design jobs. And at the time, there was really very little digital work, so everything was printed. So
Okay.
all that drowned. That really was a problem, but you made do. And being homeless is kind of hard too, because like you can't live there. You can't breathe the air. There are like literally mushrooms growing out of the walls like a day or two later. It was a disaster. So luckily I had some really good friends and I found a wonderful place later. But
Yeah,
yeah,
because
that was an adventure.
finding a place in New York is not easy, right?
Yeah, I mean it depends on what you're willing to live in, I guess.
Okay, I guess. Yeah, yeah. There's always a dumpster.
Well, luckily I didn't have to go that far, but yeah, I mean, a lot of my friends at the time had like extra bedrooms where like a roommate was gone or somebody was about to move in, so you kind of make do. I mean, generally speaking, especially when you're younger in New York, there's always like a rotating cast of characters that kind of circulates throughout every apartment. So
Yeah.
I did the tours, and then I, was able to connect with some other people, and we got a place, and everything was okay. And moving was really easy.
Yeah, I imagine. No, no bullet journals to carry.
Yeah, I mean, I literally think I moved into my place with like one backpack. That's all that was it. And a
What?
monitor, because
Yeah.
it was not in the water.
Yeah, true.
It's like
But
one of those big ones too, though. It was like a CRT. So I
okay,
remember
okay.
a pair of
Shit,
this
it's
thing.
a workout.
Yeah.
And instead of a kettlebell, you have a monitor. Which must be very a little bit relieving or liberating, I guess, to just have everything you own in a backpack. I don't know. I kind of like that idea, and I've been really thinking also some things in my life that are changing, and I do feel that I'm falling more and more in love with that idea of just everything that I own being responsible and being able to carry my shit basically. And I do feel that that's a lot of value, at least to, well, I would say that losing it like you did is not ideal, but you do get a lesson out of it. I guess you do take a lesson of everything, but at least not being so possessive. It's a very important, especially nowadays. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that learning to let go is an incredibly important thing to be able to do, you know, and like it was out of my control.
Yeah.
And that's a very important lesson that I've learned over the years too. And you know, this is not in any way my invention. This dates back to the Stoics, but like being able to really understand what is and is not out of your control. Like the flood was out of my control. Losing my stuff was completely out of my control. The only thing I could control was how I responded to that situation. And I could have either grieved for all the stuff I didn't need, or I could have did what I did and just like figured out, where do I stay now? Where do I go now? And like those kind of things. And it's when you learn to let go of things, you also learn about the power that you have in responding to things, like the things that you can actually hold on to. I mean, I don't want to live out of a backpack. There are definitely things that I like. I like having a dining table. I like having my friends over and being able to share quality time with them. But I have like 3 pieces of furniture in my house, and every one of them, though not portable, serves a function. But you can check out Colin Wright's stuff. I don't know if you've seen him, but he was one of the first guys who lived exclusively with, I think, 100 objects or whatnot. One of the he's has a very interesting perspective on life in general. But I read a lot of his stuff back in the day, and it really is interesting. Like I forget where the line's from again, not my own, but like the things that you own end up owning you. I feel that to be really true. Yeah. Except for your tools.
Yeah. I was going to say, but my camera, I need my camera. I need to make the videos. Because if you are using them, at least they have some value, right? I mean, if you buy a very expensive camera and then you don't use it, I mean, what's the point? But if you are actively using it and taking some value out of it, that's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's not about getting rid of stuff for the sake of getting rid of it. Like, I feel like that's the other extreme. Like, look, I own nothing. Like, just because you get rid of everything you own doesn't make you any less miserable, right? I think it's about really being excited about the things that you have. Like, it doesn't need to be practical, but like, I don't know, you have a chair and you don't sit in it, but every time you look at that chair, you feel better. Just because, like, I feel there's nothing wrong with that. I think the problem becomes when we try to like fill holes in ourselves by acquiring things, right? Like I'm sad, so I'm going to buy a big camera or something like that. But if you use it and if it really adds value to your life, I feel you should own whatever it is that you want to own. But in my experience, most things don't. So it's a balancing act, and it changes over time. Maybe with that chair, all of a sudden you're done with it. Give it to a friend.
Yeah, I do like that idea of having just to adjust your life based on your current situation, or at least having that freedom. Sometimes you don't, but as long as you have it, if you don't have any family or responsibilities, at least being able to do that and having the freedom just in your thoughts of being available to do those things. Yeah. And I would say that we are running out of time. So I'll just shoot some final questions. Book you're reading right now, if you are reading some.
Yeah, I'm actually reading 2 books right now, The Unbearable Lightness of Being and also Bird by Bird, both of which I highly recommend. I try to read 1 book for work and 1 book for just fun at all times. But yeah, those are the 2 that I'm reading right now, both of which I'm enjoying thoroughly.
I'll check them out. Yeah, I'm now, by the way, I'm reading The Deep Work by Cal Newport. It's very interesting also. Yeah.
I haven't gotten to that one yet.
And what will be the thing that you say that you are struggling right now and that you really want to improve in yourself and you feel like you could do better?
It's a good question. I guess I always want to get better at being able to articulate my thoughts, whether it's spoken or through writing. I feel like that's something that I'll never stop trying to get better at. And it's always a struggle. It's always a struggle too, because a lot of times, especially when you're writing or you try to come up with answers, it's you have an idea, but sometimes it's not fully formed. And I feel like through writing and actually talking about it and then mulling it over, you start to take a notion or a concept and formulate it into an idea, one that you can really start working with. And that, I guess that's always a challenge, but it's a fun challenge because it really makes you clarify what you believe in.
Yeah, I do feel like communication is huge, even between people, like just orally. If you really know how to communicate, you will avoid a lot of problems.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah, and then what's the thing that you feel like you are really good at and you really want the other people to either have a taste of it or at least think about it in the way you think about it?
I mean, the cheap answer, but the real answer is bullet journaling. That like I feel like I figure out a way that is really helpful to get people organized. And now over the years, I've come to believe that it can help other people as well. So for me, and this kind of goes back to your other question, it's like teaching. So like I'm trying to get better at teaching because I feel like that's the most value I can provide as a person right now. Like that is how I feel most valuable and the way I can contribute the most. So I want to learn how to become better at doing that. Yeah,
you really, at least for me, you did your job. I mean, bullet journal it really helped me. Now really, I became, I don't want to say this, more like better just by using it, just because it's a tool that I can stick with. And yeah, I mean, every day I have it open in front of me at work. Right now it's open in front of me and it's every time ready for me to just write something on it. And yeah, it's good enough for me. And really appreciate you accepting. I really, when I sent that email, I never thought you really answer back. So really thank you. It's been a pleasure to use your system, your gift to the world, and really nice to speaking with you. And hopefully we can speak more about different things later on when we are at different stages of our lives. Yeah. So Ryder, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
And yeah, guys. So that's another episode. Thank you. Bye. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching my conversation with Ryder. It was really cool to meet him and also know a little bit more about the philosophy behind bullet journal. So if you didn't know the tool, go check it out. I'll be leaving the links down below. And if you want more content about self-development, check out rowdelta.com or subscribe to this YouTube page. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next video.